I think some people aren't prepared to recognise his talent as a broadcaster. He was an incredibly talented broadcaster, still is. He's 79, for heaven's sake. He is an incredibly talented broadcaster. They did not come much better than that. John Laws maybe was in his class, but I think a lot of people will remember him for the things they hate about him, and that is the denial of climate change, calling it a climate hoax. The parade of people that he had on to say that climate change was just some conspiracy to deindustrialise the world or whatever it was. The abuse of women like Jacinta Ardern or Louise Heron, the Opera House CEO, or Julia Gillard, the Prime Minister. I think those are the things that will stick with the people who have strong views, and there are a lot of people who have strong views about him. And for the people who were his audience, I'm sure they'll miss him. They loved him, and they would phone up and say how much they loved him. So he's very divisive, controversial, talented, very divisive.
How much influence did he actually have?
I think he was tremendously influential. He shifts the conversation. He's able to push the conversation in one direction by constantly barracking for a particular point of view, like climate change is a waste of time, or climate change is a hoax, or climate change is ridiculous. And he's able, by doing that, to shift the whole conversation in the country in a certain direction, which is basically to the right. I think what he also does is he puts things on the agenda. He pushes the boundaries of what is acceptable to say, or has done that. So it may be in terms of Islam, or it may be in terms of women, to say things about women like he did about Jacinta Ardern, to shove a sock down her throat, or she's a total lightweight, she's a clown, or give her a backhander. It's the idea that some people can be talked about in those terms, whether they're Islamic or whether they're doll bludgers or whether they're women, that there's some people who we can have contempt for, and that's okay. It's a tone of conversation and a tone of derision or dislike that infects the whole political landscape of what is possible to say. And I think that is, in a way, much more influential in the long term in terms of what he does to the conversation.
So to what can we attribute his longevity and his ratings success?
He is a fantastic communicator. He's incredibly, he's articulate, he's got a great voice, he's simple, and he's absolutely decisive and full of passion. I don't know how he wakes up in the morning feeling like that every day. There's no way I could do that. But he has a message that he puts across, and he's terrific at it. Personally, I don't like the message at all, but in terms of his ability to communicate, he's pretty much unrivaled. There is a view which is being put forward in a couple of papers that actually he's being pushed out, and that's the result of this campaign that's been run against him, who've been trying to persuade advertisers not to advertise on 2GB, mainly because of what Jones has said to Ardern, to Jacinta Ardern, and about her, and about women in general. And they've said, surely your brand does not want to be associated with someone who has these views and says this to women. And that appears to have been remarkably successful in terms of driving advertisers away. And it's cost 2GB, 4BC millions of dollars. I don't know how many millions, but millions of dollars. I think that has basically come into a perfect storm, and it's been decided it's time for him to go. He may well want to go as well. He may well feel it's the time to go, but the story that's being put in several papers is that he's been pushed.